Hello, receiving teachers, receiving students, and 7Es.
Hello, Miss.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, before we go on to our lesson for today, let's recap on what you learned in your previous lesson. What did you learn in your previous lesson? Who can still remember? Isaac?
Making directed numbers, abacus, and method.
Okay, making directed numbers using the abacus method. Is it correct? Yes, very good. In your previous lesson, you did had a look at a sample of an abacus. In front here, I do have a sample of an abacus that we are going to use as our recap activity with some of the dice that I have placed into these rods here. So you have 2 activities that we are going to do that for only 1 minute because the activity is not that difficult. The recapping exercise is what directed numbers are shown here. I have A. It is shown in the diagram. It is also inside your student worksheet. To the receiving teacher, these 2 exercises are also in the student worksheet, A and B. Okay, some students have their names up. I think they have finished, which is good. You others quickly. Okay, can we go through the answers now? Okay, let's have Walter for the first one. It should be very easy. What is your answer to the first activity?
+3.
+3, put your hand up. 7Es if you've got +3. Okay, very good. To the receiving teacher, you can check your students also if they do have their answer as +3. How about B? Glenda?
+1.
+1. 7Es, put your hand up if you've got +1. Okay, very good. Let's check to see if those 2 answers are correct. A, we have +3, and B, we have +1. To the receiving students, these are our answers to our recapping exercises. We will now move on to our lesson topic for today. Who can tell us what would be our lesson topic for today? Ruthie?
Integers on the number line.
Integers on the number line. We are still on integers. What are integers? 7Es. I'm sure you can still remember the definition of integers. What are integers? Can be one word, it can be a sentence. Quickly, 7Es. Begley?
Whole number or directed numbers.
Whole numbers or directed numbers. Very good. Any other answers? Quickly, 7Es. To the receiving teacher, I hope your students are giving you the same answers like what our 7E students are presenting. Jubilee, any answers from you? What are integers? Bagley said they are whole numbers or directed numbers.
Integers are whole numbers.
Okay, integers are whole numbers. Let's check to see if we have those definitions. Okay, integers are positive whole numbers, negative whole numbers, and zero. Zero is always included with the other whole numbers, integers. So remember, they are whole numbers, not in fraction or decimals. Directed numbers, yes, they do come in fractions and decimals. Integers are also directed numbers, like what Bagley have said. Positive integers are to the right of 0, and negative integers are to the left of 0 on a number line. Here now, we are going to be using a number line to plot the integers that are prepared in your activities. Look at point number 3 again. Positive integers are to the right of 0, and negative integers are to the left of 0 on the number line. Do we know our left and right sides? Yes, if we don't know, then it will be a problem when it comes to answering our questions. Here is an example of a number line with the integers shown. Okay, I'd like everyone to have a look at this number line. It says integers can be represented on a number line. Positive integers are to the right of, what do we have here? 0. To the right of 0. When you are facing the screen, it's to this side. Is that clear, 7Es? Negative integers are to the left. Okay, have a look at these two. Positive integers to the right, the value increase. Positive 1 to positive 4, the number becomes bigger or smaller? Bigger, increase. Another word for that would be bigger. Negative integers, value decreasing, meaning the value becomes smaller. The sign negative will tell us that the number is becoming smaller. Is that clear, 7Es? To the receiving teacher, that is a sample of a number line that can be used to plot integers. We have a learning activity that we are going to do that together. It says, graph the following sets of integers on the number line. We have A, -2, 0, 1. B, integers, what is this sign? This sign here, sorry? Okay, it means greater. Integers, what is this sign represent? Less than, very good. And D, integers between -2 and 3. This one is already prepared on or it's going to be shown on a PowerPoint. It's done, but you do have exercise for you to do. So I would like us to now focus this exercise to the important points and symbols that you will be coming across in doing the exercises. You have answered the question, but we will still come back to this one. We have A. Look at the numbers very carefully. A, the numbers, these are individual integers. So mark each one with a solid dot. You will come to see what we mean by this point. So remember, when you come across exercises that are written out like this, they are called what? Individual integers, or they are single numbers, but they are whole numbers. B, the symbol means is greater than or to the right of -2. So this is an infinite list not including -2. This point refers to exercise B. C, the symbol means less than or equal to or to the left of 1. So this is an infinite list including -1. This point here refers to the learning activity C. Learning activity D, integers between -2 and 3. Between -2 and 3 means not including the boundary numbers -2 and 3. So these points here are in line with each of these activities that are shown on the PowerPoint. It's not for you to do, but just for us to see first before we go on to our actual exercise. The answers to those activities. A, it can be shown as that. The number line will be drawn like what I have done on the PowerPoint. And it says, mark each one with a solid dot. This is what we meant, solid dot. And you will see the difference between the answers as we go through them. Okay, B, the symbol means is greater than or to the right of -2. So this is an infinite list not including -2. -2 is far from where the dots are. So it should go to your right. Have a look at it very carefully, how it is being plotted, and also refer to the points that I have prepared on the chart. C, the symbol means less than or equal to or to the left of 1. So this is an infinite list including -1, including. So it starts straight from -1 going to your left or right? Left. And the last one, between -2 and 3 means not including the boundary numbers -2 and 3. Can you see those two numbers? They are outside of the dot mark that we have plotted. Are we clear? 7 is. If you are confused, you refer back to these points here, but it will be also written inside your, or it is also prepared in your student workbook. Do read through that. To the receiving teachers, these are points that your students can refer to when it comes to the exercises. We will now go on to our learning activities. Okay, your learning activities, you have to use the number line that I have prepared there on your desk. Exercise 1. Draw a number line with 10 equal intervals marked from -5 to +5. Mark the following integers with a colored dot. So if you have highlighters, markers with you, you mark the plots on. The activities will be shown on the PowerPoint. I have made it easier for you by preparing the number lines. So you have 2 exercises to be done on those 2 number lines, exercise 1 and exercise 2. For exercise 1, you are given only 2 minutes to plot the numbers on. Okay, exercise 1, you have A. You are to plot A on your number line, -3. So you find on your number line where -3 is, you plot your dot and also write the letter. Is that clear, 7's? To the receiving teacher, these are the activities that the students will be doing from now up until the end when our lesson ends. So we have A, -3, B, 0, C, 2, and D, the integer 4 units to the right of -5. So you refer back to the important points that we have on the board. Those are just examples, but you have your actual exercise now on the screen. So 7's, you have 2 minutes to get this completed. Plot those numbers on the number line, exercise 1. Check around if your desk have extras, extra number lines. Some of our friends do not have any. Exercise 1 and 2. Okay, 2 of you do them together. You give them, you two work on 2 papers, share them because I'm short. My friend will work on this one. Exercise 1 and exercise 2. Oh, what's that one? Give that to her. Give that to her. No. Is back to back. Those ones are as well. What's that? Okay, I've prepared the number line for you. -5 to +5. The number line has been drawn. All you have to do is plot these numbers on the number line with a dot. Who is -3? -3 is here, so you plot the dot here. Okay, your letter D. Where are you going to put here? Let me write the letters also. This is A. Put the dot, write the letter A. B, C, and so forth. Don't forget to write the letters. Dots represents a letter. A, B, C, or D. If you just have the dot there, what letter does it come in? Or what letter does it represent? Looking around, most students have finished exercise 1. Don't forget to write your names because I will be collecting those worksheets or the number lines. Be very careful with letter D. The integers 4 units to the right of negative 5. Have we all finished? Should be very easy. Exercise 2, you have the number line being prepared. You have only one to plot on that number line, 1 unit away from negative 3. Exercise, do we agree this is exercise 1? Exercise 2 is looking around, some students have done exercise 1 under where it says exercise 2. That means we are not reading. You have exercise 2 at the back or on the other side of the paper. 7 is read. Okay, we should be finished by now. These two numbers are not going to be included. So 1 unit away from 3, that means you will have 1 dot here and 1 dot here, away from 3 between both sides. Okay, we should be finished by now. We are going to go through the papers together. You should have your number lines in front of you. Now we are going to go through to check if you have the same answers like what I have on the chart. Okay, 7 is you should have your number lines in front of you, and we will check our answers with the one that I have prepared on the chart. Solution to exercise number 1. Letter A, -3. It should be plotted where negative 3 is. So looking at that chart, this is where negative 3 should be plotted with a dot shaded, and the letter should be written up the top. B, 0, this is where it's supposed to be plotted on the number line, and you should also write the letter in. C, positive 2, this is where it's supposed to be plotted. D, 4 integers to the right away from negative 5. This is where it's supposed to be plotted, where negative 1 is. How we got negative 1 as our answer? You are to count 4 units to the right on your number line. So you start counting from where negative 4 is. Exclude number 5. Do not count number 5. So you start counting from 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are the 4 units away from negative 5. And that is where you are going to write your letter D. So those are the answers to exercise number 1. Exercise or solution to exercise number 2. Integers away from 3. So this is the solution to exercise 2. You should have negative 4, that is 1 unit away from 3, and negative 2, 1 unit away from 3. So the 2 numbers on the side should be plotted excluding number 3. So this is what you should have plotted on your number line as your answer. So those are the answers to the 2 activities that I have asked you to complete. Okay, if you have any further questions on that, we will still go back to them in our next lessons. Or if you are still confused on how we got the answer to this one, do not hesitate to ask for clarification. Is that clear, 7 is? Make your correction. The solutions will be there on the chart. We will now go on to our summary points for our lesson. Can I ask 7 is to read that loud and clear? Integers. Continue. Positive integers are to the right of 0, and negative integers are to the left of 0 on the number line. What would be our keyword for our lesson for today? A keyword. Isaac? Not a key phrase, but a keyword.
Integers on the number line.
Okay, integers on a number line is a key phrase. Our keyword for today is, I have prepared integers. Next lesson we have directed numbers on number lines. Materials needed to the receiving teacher: A4 papers, pen, pencil, ruler, and worksheets. The same goes to the 7 is. I would like you to bring those materials along with you to use in our next lesson. With that, this has bring us to the end of our lesson. Thank you, receiving teacher, receiving students, and 7 is for your participation.
Wow.